everybody, my name is Jenna and today it is time for another Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday is currently being hosted by Sam from the channel Thoughts on Tomes. I will leave a link to her channel and to the Goodreads page in the description box below if you want to check either of those ones out. Today's topic is inaccurate book covers. Now I kind of get the feeling that inaccurate book covers is sort of a fairly, obvious description of what this week's Top 5 Wednesday is, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown anyway. Basically, inaccurate book covers means that you pick the 5 books that you think have covers that either do not match the story, do not add anything to the story, or are just kind of unappealing, I guess. That's sort of what I'm taking from it. So these are kind of the 5 covers that I think don't really show what the story is about. You sort of have to rely on the title and the blurb to sort of really get a picture of what you're about to read. Shout out to my friends Emily and Beck who helped me come up with this list. Honestly, I was really struggling to come up with 5 books that had inaccurate covers, but they started to suggest a few that I know Beck in particular is really strongly of the opinion that one of these covers is not this right for the book. So let's just hop into the video and see. So before I get started, I just want to remind everyone that because I live in Australia, I'm going to be showing the UK/Australian covers. So obviously these might be a little bit different to the US covers, and hopefully the US covers are better than the UK covers, but that's not always true. So the first cover I have for you, and the one that Beck is particularly passionate about, is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Red Queen is set in a world where everyone is divided by blood. If you have red blood, you are a commoner, and if you have silver blood, you are more sort of the royal status, sort of more wealthy, you have godlike superpowers. So basically, if you live in this world, you want to have silver blood. So this book follows Mare, a 17-year-old red-blooded girl who lives in a place called the Stilts. However, she discovers that she has silver powers, basically, and from there she ends up moving to the castle where they pretend she is sort of a long-lost silver princess, and she kind of has to navigate through this dangerous game, making sure that no one knows that she actually has red blood when she has silver abilities. So the cover for this one is fairly simplistic. It's got an upside-down crown, it has red blood on it, and the blood's kind of dripping down, and it's Red Queen in red letters. I kind of get where Beck's coming from here. It doesn't really give away a lot of the plot just by this cover. It's very simplistic. It's kind of effective. I mean, to be fair, if I saw this cover, I wouldn't be super intrigued. Maybe by the blood dripping down the crown. I don't know. But then when you read the book, I didn't particularly enjoy this book anyway, so maybe that's why we don't like the cover. But yeah, I think they could have done a lot more with this cover. So the next cover I have to share with you is The Kill Order by James Dashner. So The Kill Order is the prequel to the Maze Runner trilogy. It is set, I think, 13 years in the past before the Maze Runner actually happens. So the book sort of tells the story of these new characters from the time the sunflares hits to sort of where we are at when the deadly disease, the flare, basically is starting to kill everybody. So we do get to see a little bit of the origins of the flare, which is really nice, and getting to see the origins of the sunflares is awesome too, but I wasn't super impressed with the characters in this book. So then we get to the cover. Again, it's a very simplistic cover. It is of course the UK edition, so I think the American edition is a little bit different. Maybe the US edition is better. I don't know. All I know is that it's got The Kill Order in really big letters, and inside the letters it's got, I think that's supposed to be New York City, I guess, inside, and then it's sort of got a massive tidal wave coming over and sort of about to smash New York City, which once you've read the book, it kind of makes sense. But just looking at this cover, if I hadn't already read and enjoyed the Maze Runner trilogy, I probably wouldn't have picked this book up at all. The third cover I have to talk about is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. So Me Before You follows Lou Clark. She's just been let go from her job and she has to desperately try and find a new one. She ends up working for Will Traynor, who is a quadriplegic, so he is stuck in a wheelchair. He cannot do anything for himself, so Lou ends up having to look after him and be his carer, basically. And as the book goes on, it sort of develops their relationship more, and it's a really nice read. I really enjoyed this one. The cover, again, very simplistic cover. I think that's kind of the theme with these covers that I picked. They're all very overly simplistic. I mean, a good simplistic cover is good, but when they're overly simplistic and they don't give away anything, it does make it sort of like, why would I bother picking up this book? The cover's not very exciting. Because let's be honest, we all judge books by their covers, people. I mean, we all do it. So Me Before You is, this cover at least, is sort of in grayscale, except for the dress that she is wearing. So I think that's sort of meant to symbolize that Lou is a very out there sort of person. She is sort of the only color that Will sees in his world, I guess. So it definitely does have that sort of symbolism to it. But again, if I was just picking this book up in the store and didn't know it was going to be turned into a movie, I probably wouldn't have picked it up at all. The fourth cover I have to show you is Wicked Lovely by Melissa Marr. So Wicked Lovely follows Aisling, who's grown up knowing there are only 3 rules that she needs to listen to, and those are to never stare at invisible fairies, never speak to invisible fairies, and never attract their attention. Unfortunately, Aisling manages to break all 3, and she ends up getting the attention of Keenan, who is the Summer King, and he is desperate to make her his Summer Queen. So considering this book is all about the Summer Court and the King and the Queen, the fact that the actual cover is, you can kind of see it, so it's sort of a person in the background who is sort of completely blue, and then it's this flower that's actually been frosted over. So for a book about the Summer Court, it's like, why do we have this frozen flower on the cover? When you get through the books, at least when you sort of get further through the books, it does start to make sense, but in the first instance, I remember picking up this cover, then reading the blurb and being like, how does this relate to anything? And the final cover I have to talk about is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. So if for whatever reason you've been living under a rock and haven't heard of this incredibly successful, if not slightly terrible series, Twilight follows Bella, who moves to Forks with her dad, and she attracts the attention of Edward Cullen, who is a vampire, and the two of them fall in love. It's kind of a Romeo and Juliet situation, I guess you could call it, maybe. They're definitely star-crossed lovers. No one wants them together, that is for sure. As for the cover of Twilight, again, very simplistic, but I don't get it. I've read all 4 books now, and I don't get it. Like, why? Why is this the cover? What significance is the apple? What significance is the hand holding them? Is it supposed to symbolize that an apple is really fragile and that's why I don't understand. It's kind of amusing really how a book with a cover like this managed to become one of the most successful young adult franchises ever. So there you have it. Those are the 5 books that my friends and I think have fairly inaccurate book covers. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what books you think have inaccurate book covers. I would love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.